Alright, it's Krim, and I'm back with another YouTube video. So recently, Negus made a really good video with TikTok that I really want to recommend that y'all check out. But one of the main takeaways from this video that I want to touch on, that was also made clear in a really well worded tweet by Pika. I'll link that tweet in the description. But the comp players in our scene really overvalue clout and raw mechanics over taking time to actually understand the game and how to play around objective. There, in servers like the Plus server, a lot of players have gained status there by being able to out mechanic other players, and obviously being playing to solely focus on out mechanicking and not worrying about objective or the game state leads to a lot of dysfunction in team play. So it leads many players to just take irrelevant 1v1s away from objective or leave objective behind solely to play for kills. And obviously this mentality and playstyle tie into my current main gripe with comp as a scene, having how people complain about the current state of the game is very stagnant and the meta doesn't move, while all our players do consistently, or at least a good chunk of our players does, is hold forward and solely played out mechanics instead of understanding the game and how complex each of the modes we play are. So this really means that player impact is only often gauged by someone's KA, when I'm sure a lot of you know player KA is not everything. That does not determine your value in a match, how many kills you get. There are so many other ways to impact the game, and measuring it solely off kills is super dishonest. And also that mechanics don't really mean anything if they can't be applied meaningfully in a game, and you don't understand how the game is actually supposed to be played. Like, you can be the best, you can mechanically be the best in the world, but if you're not using your mechanics and skill to be in the right place at the right time, then you're not going to impact the game meaningfully. So, that being said, one of the most common arguments I hear against people thinking about the game, taking it more seriously, or helping to see the meta grow is that there isn't incentive to put time into the game and bother to learn it. This argument is fundamentally flawed, and I think it needs to stop being said every time someone tries to bring up how this scene doesn't move, and we as a player base need to do more to push the game. The main incentive people the lack of incentive people point to is that there aren't major tournaments to push people to play the game, and that there isn't as meaty prize pools as there used to be. And my counterpoint to this is that despite multiple high tier tournaments existing throughout this game's life that have had really good prize pools and really good advertising and have pushed players to play the game and people to pick it back up again, the meta still hasn't moved and people still complain about the game being stagnant. Money should not be our crutch, and money is not the only way to grow this scene. Like, money is a part of esports growth for sure, but acting like it's the only way to grow our scene isn't good. Let's put in perspective, we're a small grassroots scene, and a lot of our growth is going to come from setting up for the future, and through people being passionate about the game and what the scene can potentially be given it the chance it's given to grow. Like, literally every part of our scene has been doing their part for the longest time. Our TOs, our production staff, community supporters, artists, and a lot more. Players have the bare minimum job of actually playing the game, being in tournaments, and trying to push the game so that its meta can grow. Like, incentive needs to stop being used as an argument when money clearly hasn't worked as incentive for the player base to actually do anything to push the game, and stop playing only to out mechanic. There needs to be a mental shift going into Splatoon 3 to be more open-minded about weapon picks, about maps, about how to think about the game so that the game can actually move. We are very close-minded right now, and it's actively hurting the game and its growth. Playing to solely out mechanic is a fundamentally flawed playstyle and mentality that isn't going to last if anyone decides to actually think about the game critically and knows how to make good decisions around objective. This playstyle has also been why the game and the scene isn't stagnant, because literally no one else outside of a few teams and players have been doing anything other than this. The problem with NA as a region is that, like I've been saying, people don't put in effort to learn the game and its complexities with objective, how to play certain maps and modes, how to play to win conditions, or even how to play certain weapons well to cheese some maps. And most of the pickups that are present right now in NA are playing comps like Claude Shooter, playing weapons like 52 and Not, which are really popular, and leans as a style to play the most. These comps allow teams to stall easily, generate a lot of paint easily, and a lot of these weapons have comfortable amounts or really good kill power, which is they can literally just hold forward and not have to worry about objective too much. And this is also why we consistently lose to JP as a region. Mechanics can be seen as somewhat even between two regions, but the difference is that JP applies their mechanics in more thoughtful and meaningful ways throughout the game, rather than just playing only get kills, and they actually worry and are concerned about objective and game state. Like, they consistently play smarter than us, and they understand how diverse the meta actually is. Like, they take time to learn the game, how to play to certain maps and modes, and understand the value of niche picks for the situation. And outside of JP, another example of this happening is through FT-Win and Starburst. And even like our recent tournament set shows why playing out mechanic isn't a stable playstyle. I'm gonna use NFT win versus Jackpot as the example here, because while Jackpot was able to outmechanic FT win at some games during that set and quickly KO them, the minute FT win got onto the map and actually got set up, they consistently made better decisions around objective and the game state and played to their win condition better than Jackpot did. Like, they understood how to deal with that playstyle and quickly remove them once they really get into the map. And teams like FT1 and Starburst also play to game state better, they play to map modes better, they play to their players' inherent strengths and their coordination as a team better. And I'm going to stress this point again because I really believe that it's important. This scene does not move because no one bothers to learn the game, think about it, or play smart. It's like players like Ice, Tic Tac, Pika, and Kyo have been saying, is that there needs to be a change in mentality in this scene, and players really need to be opening their minds to how the game works, how to play it, instead of solely playing to out-mechanic, join plus, and get clout. There needs to be less shallow motivations to play the game and to learn it than just getting into plus and getting clout. Are you playing to win, or are you playing to be seen as a good player? It's just like Kyo said. And there needs to be a shift. Splatoon 3 isn't going to go anywhere if the players in this scene don't start to realize that this game is so much more than plus server clout and only playing to be good mechanically. That this game has complex intricacies throughout its maps, modes, and mechanics, and understanding how all these things flow together will make you a better player. It's why people like FT1 and Starburst and people like Tic Tac have been at the top for so long. Literally, Tic Tac gets to come back every couple of months and win tournaments because he simply plays smarter than the rest of the scene. Like, yeah, that should speak for itself. So I'm going to wrap up this video by saying that I really want this scene to grow. I really want to see a mental shift and change, because I really don't think the way the game is being played right now is good or healthy for long-term growth. That's the entire reason I'm making this video. Because in playing with Cherry Limeade, in playing with more lower-level, quote-unquote, lower-level players and players who are below my skill level, and talking to people in low-level and lower mid-level, I've seen how they play the game, and it's so much healthier than how most of high and a good chunk of top level does. They are actually so much more inclined to take in knowledge. They want to learn about the game. They want to think about the game critically. They just aren't inclined to play only meta. They're interested in niche weapon picks. They're interested in trying. They're interested in ideas. They don't accept the meta for what it is. They are so motivated and inclined to learn how to play the game and to try new things and think about the meta in new and different and unique ways. And that's good. That's so much stronger. It's why there's been a shift to put so much more into low level, because they are so much more inclined to learn than higher levels of this community. They do so much better in being thinkers than the rest of the scene does. Like, there needs to be a shift. Splatoon 2 as a game right now is honestly pretty comfortable. The game the meta can be pretty diverse if you really take the time to understand it and the time to explore your options fully. And I do mean, take a look at everything that's available. Not just your Nautiluses, not just your K-52s, not just your shooters. Look at every weapon in the game, take a real good look at them, and you'll see, once you understand the game more, and once you're not playing this layout mechanic, that a lot more stuff can work in different ways once you're open-minded. This game can be so diverse, but the player base needs to make it more diverse. And again, that's why I'm making this video. Splatoon 3 needs to be different. We as a player base need to make this fundamental shift, otherwise the game isn't going to go anywhere. It doesn't matter how good Splatoon 3 is, doesn't matter how balanced the game is, doesn't matter how many updates it gets. If we as a player base don't do anything to push it, the game is not going to move. We're going to see more tweets from people that the game isn't moving, that it's stagnant, and players are doing the same thing over and over, and those tweets are going to be made and no one's going to change a thing. So be thinkers. Don't play just solely out mechanic. It's not sustainable, and it's not going to work in the long run. And if you want more knowledge about what I've been saying throughout this video, I highly recommend you go check out people like Negus, you go check out Tic Tac, you check out Pika's Twitter thread, and Ice's most recent tweet log. All of them make amazing points and speak to this honestly better than I could. Thank you all so much for watching, and I really hope that this scene changes for the better. See ya.